Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have my tree all decorated and I'm ready for the holiday season. I'll go ahead and throw in a little footage of the decorating process just for fun. Well, today I'm going to talk about my third and final IUI. This time I decided to go with a different doctor and I learned a lot of new things that I'm excited to share with you guys. For instance, during the baseline ultrasound prior to the IUI, the first thing that the doctor said was, "You've got a full bladder." And I kind of chuckled because I wasn't expecting that. He went on to tell me that an empty bladder for ultrasounds is best, but for the IUI, a full bladder is preferable. Another thing I learned is that after I mentioned my concerns about potentially growing too many follicles, like with IUI number 2, where I had 5, he said that if that were to happen again, he could always aspirate the excess follicles before performing the IUI. It made me wonder why the previous doctor had not mentioned that, but instead was willing to risk a potential quadruplet birth. To aid in reducing making too many follicles, the new doctor prescribed Letrozole instead of Clomid, which is supposed to have fewer side effects, and in fact, I didn't have any side effects from taking this medication. Clearly, Letrozole was better suited for me because I ended up with 2 follicles that were 19 and 21 millimeters in size on the left ovary. Now on to things we learned about this sperm. The doctor said that sperm freezing for IUI doesn't work well, which was a real shocker considering we wasted money on 3 frozen vials for IUI number 2 with the first doctor, when I wish we would have known this ahead of time, that it wouldn't really change the overall count that much. The other thing that we discovered through the new doctor is that we could use transport media, which is a solution that you pour over sperm to preserve them while you're driving in your car getting ready to drop off your specimen. When I heard about this, I thought, man, what an awesome idea for if your partner isn't able to make it to your appointment, or if they just feel more comfortable with giving a sample at home. It just makes it so much easier, especially since we had about an hour drive to get to the office, and I believe that adding the media gives you about a 2-hour buffer time for transport of your specimen. On the day of IUI number 3, we were instructed to bring in my husband Justin's sperm sample an hour before the procedure so they could prepare it. We were already 5 minutes late and there was no one to be found. I was panicked that the staff was not there and I was nervously shaking my leg. I thought maybe it's because I only confirmed the IUI procedure and I didn't confirm the sperm drop-off, possibly. I was just trying to find some sort of rationale of why they weren't here. Desperate times call for desperate measures, so I called the 24-hour emergency backline for the office, and I was talking with the lady explaining that I had a 7 a.m. appointment for sperm drop-off and absolutely no one was there. And just as I was talking with her, 2 staff members just walked in the door. We then dropped off Justin's sample and were told to come back in about 45 minutes. So we grabbed some breakfast, and when we came back, we were much more calm. Before doing the IUI, the doctor said that we had 14 million motile sperm. That is almost identical to what we had for IUI number 2, However, we were using 3 frozen vials and 1 fresh. So this just goes to show that using the frozen samples for IUI number 2 did not really make much of a difference after all. Let's just talk about what everyone wants to know. Did it hurt? Well, I'm happy to tell you that with this new doctor, it was virtually painless. While inserting the speculum, he could tell that I was sort of bracing for the pain that I was expecting would shortly come. He asked me if the other IUIs in the past had been painful, and I told him that they had. And about 2 seconds later, he told me, "Well, I'm done." And I could not believe it. I had no idea that he was already in and it was all over. The 2 previous times had been very uncomfortable, and my husband even told me that with the other 2 IUIs, the instruments actually looked more rigid. I also bled after and had to wear a pad and was trying to do a lot of deep breathing to try to cope with the intense pain of the catheter being inserted through my cervix. So I was pleasantly surprised with this new doctor for IUI number 3 that I had no pain, no bleeding, no cramping, none of that. It was night and day, so much better. This is why it's really important to do your research when choosing a doctor. I know not everyone has the luxury of having multiple fertility doctors within an hour drive. However, all I'm saying is that it is worth it to drive a little extra to get the best possible doctor that you can. 2 days after the IUI, I started taking vaginal progesterone suppositories. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a little strange putting a pill up your hoo-ha. But apparently I'll do anything to support a healthy uterine lining. You are to take these at night and for good reason, because it made me very sleepy. And on day 14 post IUI, I took a pregnancy test and unfortunately it was negative. I was almost numb to the result from having so many negatives in the past, and it didn't really hit me till I told my husband. But overall, I think I handle it better than expected. I want to leave you guys with a verse for those of you who may be feeling defeated on your TTC journey. When I start to get a little down, I am reminded of 1 Peter 1:6. So be truly glad. There is wonderful joy ahead, even though you must endure many trials for a little while. These trials show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. Keep up the faith that one day you will have that sweet bundle of joy in your arms. So stay tuned for my next video where I take you guys through the process of starting IVF. Thanks so much for watching and see you guys next time.